Sa katatapos lamang na Miss Universe Philippines 2021 preliminary interviews, sino sa tingin ninyo ang dark horse na umariba, ang mic drop sa kudaan, at ang lumamo na mikropono? Here are my personal choices. The dark horse, Janela Cuaton versus Michele Okol. Mic drop, Rousanne Bernos versus Katrina Dimaranan. Ang lumamo na mikropono, Chella Grace falconer versus vendiola.
What's the most important lesson you learned in the past week?
You know, the most important lesson that I learned during this past week is to be grateful. We are in a pandemic during this pageant, and I just have to be grateful that I am here with the organization, with the girls, and that I'm able to live my dream of becoming Miss Universe Philippines.
Important lesson I really learned was to be more sure of myself and not to mind any negative comments that I can see online, because I noticed that people just post whatever they want without really thinking. So I've learned to filter out what's good and what's not and what's best for me. And that's really what I think is the best thing that I've learned last week.
Oh my gosh, the most important lesson that I've learned in the past week is that I am capable. I think my whole life I've dreamt of being a beauty queen, and I never fully believed it was possible until this week. And I'm so proud. I got to do it. The most important lesson I've learned in the past week would have to be the ability to adapt and stay patient. As we know, there are so many things changing around us, not only outside of our bubble here in Miss Universe Philippines, but also just in our nation. And especially during all of the activities where we have sponsor shoots, we don't know our time calls or call times and all of the scheduling that we have to do. It's important for us women to be able to adapt to whatever is thrown at us, and also to be able to be patient and know that everything is happening for a reason.
Past week, to be really independent from everything. I mean, I grew up really independent because I grew up without my father. But being in a pageant, doing your makeup and everything, I used to have it done with my makeup artist. And now, I think it's the first, when I arrived here, it was my first time to do it myself. And so, yeah, it's to be really independent from everything.
The most important lesson that I've learned in the past week is to always be ready, to always be prepared with what happens in your life, because I do think that there are maybe so many struggles in our lives, but it only takes us to stand back up, to be the person that we've always wanted to be, to believe in ourselves, and to always be ready for what is to come. Thank you.
Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. In whose eyes are you beautiful?
For me, it would have to be my mom. She's always seen me as a woman who is strong, courageous, and beautiful. And I know that she's proud of me for taking on my dream of becoming Miss Universe Philippines. And I know that in the future, when I become a mother as well, I will be proud of myself.
In whose eyes? Well, mine. I think that the best reflection of beauty is how you see yourself. It doesn't really matter what other people say about you as long as you're assured that you're confident in how you bring yourself out. Because for me, physical beauty isn't what defines beauty. It's the kindness and the kind of person we are that we radiate from within.
I think in God's eyes, actually I know in God's eyes, because I have always been very close with my God. And since I was a kid, I understand, and even throughout my life, I've always believed that God is the only person who is able to judge us, and He's the only person who is able to criticize or help us and guide us. So it would be in God's eyes that I'm beautiful.
I think I am most beautiful in my own eyes because only I get to see the fullness of Rousanne Bernos. You know, my lows, my highs, and I think through it all, I've really proven to myself that I own my beauty, and I've learned to embrace that kind of beauty. And I think I can say to myself that I am beautiful.
I believe that I am beautiful in the eyes of God. He has loved us so much that He even gave up His only Son in order for us to be free, to be saved. And I think that everyone is beautiful in the eyes of our Creator. And I myself, I see beauty as not only something that is seen physically, but it is what most people do not see. It is in the heart, and it is in our soul. And I believe that I am beautiful to Him.
It will always be with my grandmother's eyes. She's always the woman who sees the beauty in me, no matter what I go through, all the things that I've done in the past, whether I see it as a mistake or something else, she always see the beauty in it, and she would always tell me that no matter what mistake you do or whatever you went through in life, as long as it serves you a lesson, see the good side of it. And see it all.
If we truly learn from our mistakes, would you advise a young person to keep making them?
Yes, definitely, because you know you will never learn in life if you continue being complacent and not trying the things that you want to do. You will never know what you're getting not unless you try it. And you know, with failing, you can only learn and grow from it. But also remember that you can fail a lot of times, you can be broken a lot of times. But if you don't grow and you don't reassess what's happening with you, it's pointless.
I wouldn't advise them to keep making mistakes, but I would remind them that there's nothing wrong with making mistakes as long as we do our best to correct them for the future.
Probably not the same mistakes, but yes, keep making mistakes, because throughout life, each time we take a risk, take a chance, that's where we grow the most. And I can really say that I've done that many times. I've learned from my past mistakes, but I keep making more because through those I have grown as a person and I can keep getting better.
I would not advise them to make mistakes, but if they were to make mistakes, I would tell them that it's completely okay, because our mistakes is how we grow as a person, and we should take lessons from each of those mistakes in order for us to grow into better people.
I think it is okay to make mistakes, 2 mistakes or 3, but when you keep repeating them, it is no longer a mistake, it is a choice. So I do think that we should not keep making mistakes, we should learn from them, because when we learn from our mistakes, I do not think that we should be able to do it again, because we have learned the lesson, and once we do, we become better individuals.
Not to making them, I would say, but I would tell that person that it is okay to make mistakes. There is no judgment. You cannot tell when you make a mistake because you do not know the outcome of what you do. So if it happens, don't blame yourself. Take it as a lesson and go on with life. I think that's how it should go.
If you have the power to do one of the following, eliminate poverty through birth, a government with no graft and corruption, or solve all environmental problems, which would you choose?
I strongly believe that everything stems from the top. So if we have a good governance with no corruption and we have great leaders that are seated, it's easy for us to remove poverty and also tackle the issue about environment.
Would definitely choose the second, a government with no graft and corruption, because they can touch on both of the issues mentioned. They can help the environment by allocating enough funds, and they can also help the people by being fair and being just.
I would choose A, to diminish poverty and homelessness. Having experienced it myself, I know how much it can affect a person. And I think that if we do our best to eliminate poverty, or to at least help alleviate the homeless, that these people can be integrated back into society, and these people can turn into someone who can bring positive joy and positive light into the world, and also to be able to create change that we need right now.
I would probably choose to eliminate graft and corruption in the government, because I believe that as people, we have so much power to do more. And if we can start with the people in power to do things maybe better, do things transparently, and do things with more accountability, then perhaps we can address all the other issues that are affecting us today.
Could be the corruption. I think that has always been the issue. And if there's no corrupt government, I think we would be able to solve poverty.
I would choose to eliminate corruption in our government, because in that way we are able to uplift the poor. We are able to see what we can do for the marginalized sectors in our society. And once we do that, we are able to have leaders who can make a better world, who can make a better society for everyone. And I think that is one of the ways that we become a better world, and we have something to look forward to. We become a beautiful nation.
If you were to add to cart one item to buy on Lazada to send to all Filipinas to help inspire them during this time, what would it be and why?
You know, as cheesy as this sounds, it would have to be a Bible. Just because in a Bible, there's a lot of things that you can learn from it. And one of it being from Matthew 7:7, seek and you shall find. During this pandemic, we were challenged that if you seek for the opportunities, you can grow, you can learn, and you can love. And I know that you will come out of this pandemic stronger and better.
I would give them A sash? I'm pretty sure there's a sash there, because a beauty queen is somebody who holds themselves as an empowering woman, a phenomenal woman who reminds everyone to be themselves and to be diverse.
Have to be affirmation cards. And I've said this in my video and I still stand by it today because for me it's something that I've always had even in high school, where I take one piece of affirmation card, well in high school it's a sticky note, and it would inspire me and really set my day for me. And now, especially during this pandemic where we are hurting as people and hurting as a nation, it's so important for us to really inspire ourselves. And by then, can we only inspire others? So, affirmation cards.
I would probably send them a really good foundation shade. Like, I keep thinking about that, and one of the things that really empowered me throughout this journey was discovering my own beauty. When I was growing up, I didn't know what products were perfect for me and my skin color, and finding out the perfect shade foundation, if I could do that, individually to all Filipinas, I think it'll make a really big difference.
Is there a food I can order from Lazada? Yes, it's probably that. I mean, not everyone really needs it, but I know there are people who really needs it right now. It's something that some people can afford, but there are majority who cannot afford it right now. So I would want to order that and serve that on their tables. Thank you.
I chose my curler I do think that it has been most essential in my journey, and I felt really beautiful. I felt like a mermaid wearing my curls, and I do think that if I send it to every Filipina out there, they would feel beautiful. They would be confident in themselves, because once you become confident in you, you treat people better. You become happier as an individual, and you become someone you've always wanted to be, and that is someone I am now. I am phenomenal.